So I wanted to come out today and just take a good look at my citruses because this year I'm going to be getting ready to formulate a lot of marmalades and medicinal citrus preserves. And I'm going to be doing that with specifically lemons, my citruses, different varieties of mandarins, and moringa. And I'm going to show you folks how I've done it before and how to, help you out a little bit more when it comes to your health, especially during this season. But for now, we're going to come out here and we're going to take a good look at all of the varieties of citruses that are doing quite well. Now, the particular citrus tree that you're looking at right now is called the Tangelo, and it's being grown in the ground. You can see here, there's the wooden box. And although it has some new growth, this is not the season for leaf growth. It is a tree that doesn't show a lot of leaves, and I'll be definitely doing a soil test coming towards this spring to make sure I give it sufficient micronutrients and macronutrients. So those things are very, very important for the success, overall health and growth of your citrus trees. You can see that it's fall with all of the leaves on the ground here. But we're going to walk over here towards the sanguinella blood orange. And the sanguinella blood orange is doing exceptionally well. It's been with me for quite some time. The oranges are a little small this year. They don't get too much bigger than this, but they are a little small on average. And depending on which side of the tree you're on, you're going to experience a lot more oranges. Now, earlier in the year, I did not pay attention to my sprinkler head here, and my tree wasn't getting watered. The moment I saw my leaves droop, I immediately checked on the tree and I fixed the sprinkler head. And sometimes that can cause the tree to go into a little more stress and whatnot. But, nevertheless, everything is looking well. We're going to walk over here and we have my Eureka lemon. You can see how well it's been pruned because the Eureka lemon has a habit of shooting sprouts straight up, which does the tree no good. There's not a ton of lemons on here this year. And I did check the soil and I did a soil test. And you can see leaf miner right here in the leaves. It's not a lot, but when it comes to Eureka lemon, the leaf miner can really wreak havoc on this particular cultivar. The Eureka lemon has a problem with leaf miner, and if it gets too bad, it can stunt the growth of the tree and ruin the production of fruit. So make sure you get in there and you take care of leaf miner. You can do that with a oil, organic oil, or you could simply get in here with some baking soda and you put it in a water bottle, 2 to 3 tablespoons per gallon, and you spray the tree down, and that will normally stop leaf miner in its tract. Let's go over here. We're going to turn around and we're going to look at the Moro blood orange. The Moro blood orange, this is its first year that it's actually going to give me fruit. And so I'm looking forward to that. And, they're about the same size as the sanguinella blood orange. It does have some new leaf growth. It started getting this about 2 months ago. But once again, this is the first year. It's actually giving me fruit, and it's being grown in a container. And it took 2 years for this to give me this amount of fruit in a container. And this is because the container is large. The smaller the container, the roots will engulf the container, thus probably in giving you fruit much sooner. But when your roots have a tendency to being able to spread out, it's going to take a little bit longer, like in the ground. But nevertheless, you can see right here, this is called, this is these little black dots here. This could be related to either soot, which is a black mold that is normally accustomed with certain citruses, especially your wari, satsuma. And soot can damage not only the fruit, although the fruit still can be eaten, it could blacken the outside of the fruit. But you want to get in here. Now, I'm going to be taking care of this, and the reason why I'm doing this video, so you folks can get a better idea about these little pests and diseases and so forth. So this could be soot, or it could be a deficiency. So what I'm going to be doing with this one right away is testing the soil to see what the NPK, micro and macronutrients look like, see what their levels are, especially being grown in a container. And I'm going to also do a foliar feed every 5 days until the fruit is ripened. And it won't harm the tree at all, the fruit at all, but you want to do that to keep your trees healthy. Now over here is my Mexican key lime. It's not a favorite of cold temperatures, but nevertheless, it is here. But you got to be careful with this tree. The younger the tree is more than likely going to lose a lot of leaves during the cooler months, simply because, or the cooler season, simply because it doesn't like cold weather. The more mature the tree, the more it can take on this cold weather. Okay, you can see that it's in bloom for some reason, but you know, nature has a way of doing, you know, what it does. Here's my the mother of Nagami kumquats, and there are a few offsprings of her, but she's loaded down. She looks healthy and really nice. A lot of these trees will be going in the ground very soon, basically replacing the container that they're in, and I'll be building a wooden box, and it'll sit right there so they can grow directly in the ground. It's time to increase the volume here and so forth. Over here is the Owari Satsuma. A lot of people call this the weeping Owari. In fact, Sister Candace came over about last year. She says, no, earlier this year, she goes, is this a weeping type citrus? I said, no, it's just an Owari. This is just the nature in which it grows. It's not weeping, but if it's weeping too much, you need to not be worried about the weeping and more concerned about holding it up, because the fruit gets very heavy and it can break branches, especially if the tree is too young to hold on to much fruit. So use bamboo stakes, I got them all over, to hold the branching up, and use some nice rubber tie downs, heavy duty rubber tie downs and whatnot, agricultural tie downs. Over here is the Oro Blanco. And this is some good fruit. This is really good for your health. A lot of people miss out on grapefruits, but since there's so many different varieties now, and probably about 3 different varieties of grapefruits, maybe several, this is something that you should grow, but it definitely needs to go in the ground. It's just too big of a tree and whatnot, and it goes through a lot of nutrients. It's a heavy, heavy feeder. And when you got a heavy feeder, you're going to have less leaf growth, because all of the energy is going into the fruit production. So let's go ahead and let's go right here. Here's a few of my Nagami kumquats offsprings here. They're being grown in 15, 20 gallon containers. They're all roughly the same size, as you see. And they're doing absolutely wonderful. I'm going to have a lot of kumquat marmalade. It's going to be absolutely delicious and medicinal, as I say. I have 3 karas here. Each one of them have about 3 or 4 pieces of fruit. I took most of the fruit off, 90% of it, because I did not want to slow down the health of the root system. But I wanted to keep a few on here simply because kara, when it comes to my oranges, they are my favorite. I absolutely love these oranges. They're delicious, absolutely delicious. But the trees are very well taken care of. And the citrus orchard looks really, really good. There's about 19 or 21 citrus trees in here, with a combination of them growing in the ground and in containers. I only have 3 trees growing in the ground: the tangelo, the sanguinella, and the clementine mandarin. And this tree is finally taken off. This is my oldest tree here, but it's been moved and abused so many different times. It's finally in its own spot, but you can see how wide and all the new growth coming out. Isn't that beautiful? It only got about, look at all this new growth here. It only has about, 2, 3 different fruits, with some little small ones that are producing. But nevertheless, this one had a really, really bad problem with mite. And I got in here and I really, really soaked it down with baking soda. Okay, I got in here and I soaked it down with baking soda and with a little organic oil, coconut oil. And what that did was smothered the mites and the scale. It has and let me rephrase that. It had a problem with scale. And I really soaked it down. Once their bodies are soaked, they can't breathe, because mite and scale, they breathe through their exoskeleton. And so that was it. And they can't breathe. Gone. But now look at it. Oh, there's a little one there. Look at that. Ain't it cute? Look at that. But this one will be in full production for next year. I want you folks to take one notice, though. While I'm showing you this video, I always notice things. You see this branch here? You see how it's just shooting straight like this? And you see where it's coming from? Down here. Okay, watch this branch very closely, because those branches can shoot out and be what they call suckers. Suckers are normally below the graft, but you do get what they call shoots, and they'll shoot straight out or straight up. So watch how it grows and take it off if necessary. Okay, other than that, this is pretty much it. The fruit orchard over here, losing its leaves and getting ready for other things. I do have my 2 Meyer lemons over here, and this one right here is loaded with lots of fruit. Of course, lots and lots of fruit. Anywho, I'm not going to hold you folks. Just wanted to check in. Take care of yourselves. Until next time, shalom.